is good, people? Jay here and welcome back to another episode of Game Switch, which I left pretty late. I know people were asking in the comments, hey, when's the next one? But fear not, because we are back in Need for Speed and we're going to be switching onto Forza. So it's the same two games, Forza Horizon 2 and Need for Speed. We're going to be doing it a little bit different, only slightly, but let me fill you in on what's gonna occur. So we're gonna keep it exactly the same as last time. We're gonna evaluate two games, so do one game and then go on to the next one. But instead this time we're going to be doing a tally at the end. So we're gonna rank up the scores and announce them at the end of each test, and then at the end of the entire video we're going to be summarizing and see who ranked up the most points. So there's going to kind of be a small point system that I'm kind of going to give each game. And also there was going to be another test, which is going to be sound, because my god, I heard this thing earlier when I was just driving it around, and it packs a punch with that noise, and I don't know what it sounds like on Horizon, so that's going to be quite interesting. So you obviously know which car I'm testing, which I just spoke about, and it's in the thumbnail, so I can't really hide it from you. Now the Huracan is going to be quite interesting because I genuinely don't like this car. Now compared to the RX-7, which I love, that's like my favorite car of all time, it was a bit unbalanced. I was kind of scoring it on me just liking the car. With the Huracan it's going to be a bit different because I'm not a fan of it. So it should be quite interesting how this comes out, because I don't think I've ever used one on Horizon. I must have, because you get gifted like 5. So it's going to be exactly the same as last time. We're going to take it out, we're going to give it a listen, we're going to give it a speed test, we're going to then take it for a race. Now the looks, obviously we can just look at that, we can look at the car, so that's not really got its separate section, but it can class as a subject or whatever. So I've been blabbering on long enough. I think it's time to take it out for its first test, which is sound. Untouchable, uncrushable. So I've taken this thing to a tunnel because we all love a good tunnel run. Let's listen to it start up. That is a good sounding car. The Forza, it's going to be hard to beat that. Honestly, this is a gorgeous sounding car. Just listen to that thing. So the first test on Need for Speed is done, which was sound. That thing ranks just a massive amount. It's going to be hard to distinguish, because I don't know if it sounds like that on Horizon 2, but if it does, then it's going to be hard to choose. Untouchable, uncrushable. Now for the second test, like last time, we're going to take it onto the bridge, which we have, and we're going to see how fast this thing can go. Now immediately this climbs ridiculous. Like, I know it's fast on Horizon 2, it must be, it's a Lamborghini. Lamborghinis aren't slow, but this gets to 200 pretty darn quick. Hit 200, 202. We're not passing 202. Okay, 202 it is. So this thing hit 202 miles per hour. I'm blind at this moment. I don't even know what the results are going to be with Forza, but it'll be pretty interesting. I'm pretty interested to see how that goes down. So for the last test is handling and overall performance, so just basically how the car feels. We're going to be seeing how this car can take on racers on Need for Speed. So this should be interesting as well. I have very high hopes for this Huracan. I feel like it's an all-round good car. So far it's ticked both of the boxes in the first two tests. So we're gonna see how this thing can fly through these corners. So immediately I can see why this is used as a drift car. I can see why this is such a good drift car, because this isn't tuned at all, and this is taking on corners like it has been tuned. So if you can imagine tuning this thing, it gets around corners like a pro. Now at this point, Forza Horizon 2 has a lot to live. Shit, I just crashed. I'm just crashing now. Forza Horizon 2 has a lot to live up to now. this car looks great on this game, even though I'm not really a fan of it. It looks amazing. I just crashed into a van. You know, it looks amazing, sounds amazing, drives amazing. So it's gonna be pretty damn hard for it to be for Horizon 2 to beat Need for Speed. Round the last corner and across the line. So Huracan is ticking massive boxes. So let's go over what the Huracan kind of did. So the Huracan did amazing. Like it's kind of growing on me as I'm using it. It's really quite a good car, especially on this game. Now just keep this in mind, I didn't give anyone a disclaimer who hasn't watched this before, or the last one. This isn't serious. I'm not game testing. I'm not trying to compare the games. This is just a fun idea where we take two cars with the same game and see how they go on both games. So if the shit on the game itself. So at the end, I'll say the Huracan's better on Need for Speed or the Huracan's better on Forza Horizon 2. It's nothing serious. Just thought I'd put that out there. So like I said, the Huracan, I'm gonna say it's a 10 with the look of it. I don't really like it. I still prefer the Gallardo a lot more, but it's winning me over. It looks quite angry, quite mean at the front. So I think I'm gonna give it a nice 10. Actually, I'm full marks because it's quite astonishing. Sound, you know it's a 10. Thing sounds like a lion giving birth. It's amazing. Speed, I was expecting it to kind of be a little slower, to be fair. It isn't incredibly fast. It isn't like, whoa, this is so quick. So I think I'll give it about an 8, maybe a 9. So 8 to 9, 8, 9-ish, 8.5 or something. And finally, it's handling, which it took pretty well. I was expecting it to be really drifty because it's known to be a drift god. So I thought it was just going to be really drifty. So I think I'll give that about a 5 because I really didn't think it flowed properly. I can't drive straight on this game. I know a lot of people struggle with driving in a straight line or going around a corner normally. So I'm going to give it about a 5. I expected it to kind of be a bit more loose around the corner, so I could throw it around the corners a bit more, but it didn't do as well as I wanted it to. So overall, this is a strong contender. So I really do think it's going to be interesting to see how it works on Forza. So it's time to switch game. Just give me a moment. So we're back on Horizon 2 now to evaluate the Huracan on this game. First of all, I'm going to do looks. I'm going to do looks straight away because we're already in photo mode and we can see it. It's a beautiful lighting. Got a little overcast going and it looks quite nice. This again is hard because Need for Speed's extreme weather and extreme reflections and particles really bring that game to life. This game's a lot more flat when it comes to textures and stuff. It's just not as eye-catching. Okay, it's got some reflection, you know, if you actually look, you can see rain speckles, so it's not completely dead. So that's going to be hard to tally up at the end. But looks, it's looking high for Horizon 2.
I've marked their position on your GPS if you'd like to challenge them to a head-to-head.
Okay. So we've moved over to these buildings so we can just hear the car properly, hear it bounce off the walls or whatever. I don't think it's going to be Need for Speed, but let's just give it a listen. It just hasn't got that high pitch kick. It's nice, but it's nowhere. It's probably a lot more realistic as well, but it's just nowhere on level for what it sounds like on Need for Speed. It sounds like an animal on that game. So it's definitely hit low marks with that one. So now we're going to move over to a straight, which I don't understand how I'm going to do because I can't jump anywhere, because I don't know if I said in the last video, I lost a lot of my progress on Horizon, in fact all of it. So I am extremely new on this game according to this game, but I'm not new on this game, if you understand what I mean. So Let's see how the Bull does on the straight now. I think it was 202 on the last game. So let's see if it's any faster on this. Okay, we're approaching 200, like extremely slow. 201, 202, 203. I saw 203. 203 miles per hour. So that's 1 mph quicker than the Huracan on Need for Speed. So I guess it wins that round quite fair and square. So the last test, handling and just how the car feels on Horizon 2. This should be interesting. Let's see how she goes. I just pray that this thing kind of slides a lot better. Don't crash. One thing I find about this compared to Need for Speed, I don't know if the AI feel a lot more responsive, and it really allows me to actually push myself to try and get this thing to win. It seemed a bit easy in the last one. Compared to other cars in this game, it's really quite grippy. I'm not sliding, if you can see, and that's weird. As soon as you upgrade a car past like S1, it starts to slide and be very tail happy. This one doesn't seem to be doing that. I've just realized this is 3 laps. I think I'm gonna do 2 laps and then just finish it myself. This is turning out to be a very evenly matched 2. I'm wondering if I'll ever come across 2 cars, 2 of the same, that are totally like polar opposite on each game. Yeah, the Huracan did fine in the Forza test, so this is gonna be hard to tally up. And across lap 2, I'm just gonna end it here. So that's the end of the tests, and now to kind of do a little conclusion, a little summary of what I scored both of the games. So this should be pretty interesting. So with handling Need for Speed, it didn't come as good as I wanted it to. It didn't feel as amazing as everyone kind of makes out to be, even though it was only stock, I understand. It just didn't feel as slidey and hyperactive as I expected it to be. So I scored that a 5. It wasn't literally god awful to drive, but it didn't feel like I was in total control. It wasn't drifting as much. It was kind of trying to flick back and grip, but you can't really grip race on Need for Speed. So it felt really unbalanced for me. So a 5 felt appropriate. Then for looks, obviously things gorgeous on the game, looks amazing. The graphics really bring the thing to life. So I gave it a 10. Same with sound. Sounds like a lion giving birth, I think I said. So that's pretty high rank to me. And then lastly, speed, a 9. I didn't expect it to be as quick as it was. It climbed extremely fast. I feel like cars when they're stuck on Need for Speed, they're kind of slow. Maybe I'm just tripping, but it wasn't a slow car, so I had to mark it high on the speed part. And for Forza, I gave the handling a 6. It felt a lot more responsive on this game. It felt a lot more like I could control it. It wasn't drifting. It was doing exactly what I wanted it to, whereas on Need for Speed it didn't feel like it was. So it scored higher in that one. I was kind of debating this. I didn't know what to give it because it looks good on both games, to be fair. So I'm gonna give it a 9 for that one. It kind of looks better on Need for Speed, but it still looks really gorgeous on this on Forza. So it's just a little bit higher on Need for Speed. Still great mark. So for sound, I'm giving it a healthy 8. Now it doesn't sound as dramatic on this game, but it still packs a punch, and that crackle when you let off is gorgeous. So I had to give it a respectable 8. And for speed, I had to give it a 10 because it did beat the one on Need for Speed, and again it is relatively quick for I'd say a budget supercar. That might be pushing it there, but I think that's what the Huracan's supposed to be. So Need for Speed comes out notorious. I'm surprised by this one because I don't really like how the Huracan feels on Need for Speed. Personally, if I wasn't going by those scores, I probably would like it more on Horizon 2, but it came out superior on Need for Speed, so I have to do things right. So that is the second episode of Game Swap. I'm extremely tired. You can probably tell. I look like I want to kill myself. If you enjoyed this episode and you thought I kind of executed it better than the last one, didn't drag on too much, Let me know below. Let me know if there's any further improvements or anything I can do, and I'll see to them. Leave a like, comment, subscribe and all that shit, and I'll see you all in the next installment. Thanks for watching.